Welcome, everybody. So glad you're here. Welcome to Andrews University STEM Show 2020. My name's Dave Novak. I'm a professor of biochemistry here, and I'm going to be the MC, and we're going to have some fun talking about science and talking about STEM, and we're just so glad you're here. To begin, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Kristen Arthur, who is our provost for the university, who will begin our presentation with prayer. Dr. Arthur.
Thank you very much. Shall we pray? Our God and our Father, we stand in awe of you, your majesty, your wisdom, your power, in awe of your creation. You're a God of science, the God who stands behind every scientific formulation, every scientific discovery. This evening, as we have fun with science, we hope to bring joy to you, because indeed you're a joyous God who enjoys when science works well. This evening, bless our participants. And all that we do today, may we give you honor and glory, knowing that as we understand the natural world, may it give us a glimpse as to who you are, and worship you and adore you. Bless us now, we ask, in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Arthur. I'd like to introduce now Dr. Ryan Hayes, professor of chemistry in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry, and he's going to have a little worship thought.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. Yep, as Dr. Novak said, Dr. Ryan Hayes. Actually, Dr. Novak, you come here real quick.
Yes.
For our worship talk, I thought we would get started perhaps with a little joke. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Antibody.
Antibody? Antibody who?
Antibody home? Yeah, I guess everybody's home. Governor's orders. You'll sit down there. Okay. So, next slide here. We'll keep them moving along here. Hopefully the jokes and an important thought here. I'd like to get everybody started with a worship thought, talking about antibodies. And this may sound like, hey, that's a biology thing. You're a chemistry professor. What do you know about antibodies? A few things. We're going to get into the chemistry of that, and I think it will reveal that there is a creator working behind the scenes here. Next slide. And antibodies. These are amazingly large chemical structures. They look like a Y. And an important part about them is that they have these variable hands, if you would, that change their chemistry so that they can grab on to antigens. What are antigens? These are the bad things that our body's always out looking for in order to find something bad and grab onto them with these variable regions. A lot of people refer to this as a lock and key mechanism. And this lock and key is so specific, it's so amazing to me as a chemist. You see, antibodies form a very important role at recognizing these chemicals, and then they alert your immune system by their presence of a bad chemical, and they call in all sorts of other mechanisms to come in and destroy the foreign invaders. But they form the chemical connection to the bad guys so that your immune system can go to work. How does the antibody find this chemical? We just go, oh, it's a lock and key, and we often move on to the next page in our textbooks. But this is so specific, it is amazing that I want to go through and talk about the real miracle that's behind it. Because we often show, here's your antigen, here's your antibody, boom, they find each other, easy peasy. Well, it's really about finding a key in a whole mess of other keys, and yet the lock and key come together in a mass confusion that's going on inside your body, inside your cell, all over, all the time, every second. How does this specific action happen? First of all, your body has already made maybe 10 billion what's called B cells that have a little bit of specificity to a bad foreign invader that's coming in. Kind of like a screwdriver, kind of with the head of a screw looking for a match. Well, there's often not a very good match. Next slide. And so your body has a whole system of saying, all right, this one kind of worked. Let's throw it back in and do a bunch of combinatorial chemistry. That's a big word. Pharmaceutical companies do this sort of thing. You throw it back into a shop, and you see if you can come up with a bigger and better interaction or affinity, and there's a lot of testing that goes on in there. And it's amazing, and your body comes out with this very, very specific interaction between an antibody and the antigen. So it takes a lot of work for your body to go through and get this very, very specific chemistry. It's sort of like, next slide, it's sort of like a factory that inside the factory, all this custom design work has taken place. This is way beyond the technology that we have out in the world. It's like a very specific factory that goes through and designs a custom product for you based on what you need. We have factories that are turning out all sorts of things, but not one that adjusts its factory building process in the middle of the day or in the middle of a design. So, who am I to say anything? You know, I actually worked at a company called Lintech in College Station, Texas. We had patents on developing artificial antibodies, and they put me on the task to develop, using their technology, an artificial antibody. Easy, sounds like? So I went into the lab and started making it, and then I started wondering, how in the world did they get a patent on this? Because for me, and I tried a whole lot of tests and trials, I could never get it to work anywhere close to what antibodies worked. In fact, I ended up scrapping their patented technology, and I went with God's patented technology, and I used antibodies to capture proteins and do the important research that we were doing at that time. So I had to scrap it because it did not work at all. You see, in a very complex system, there are so many ways that things can go wrong. But yet, we see inside of living systems all this chemistry that is working and being fine-tuned all the time. It's like there's a whole Dow Chemical system, a company inside manufacturing and doing all this work. It is amazing. So when there are many things that are going on, there's many ways for it to go wrong, but we see the things going right. As I study and look at what's happening in our bodies and living systems around us, I see all these tools and factories. If we were to happen upon a planet and there was tools sitting around, a screwdriver, a hammer, and a drill, we would obviously go, man, there was somebody there. There was living, intelligent people who were on this planet. But we have a world that is saying, look at all the amazing design tools and structures and factories that are inside of us, and the world is often saying, nope, that just happened by itself. And that flies in the face of everything that we're starting to learn now about how chemical systems come together. So I'm developing a new way for us to think, and I'm sure a lot of other scientists who are joining in this are saying, if you see a working machine, you know there's a master mechanic working behind there. If you see a useful tool, there's a tool maker. If you see automation, you better believe there was a production supervisor. If you see messes that are constantly being cleaned up, you know there's a sanitation engineer working behind the scenes. And if you see efficient organization happening, all these parts happening, working together in concert, you know there's a conductor. And in our world, when you see a whole world full of these things happening, you know there is a creator. And I hope you would learn more by coming to Andrews University as we both study the creator and all of the wonderful creation that he's made. And you're going to learn a lot about that today in our program and have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to bring Dr. Novak back up, and we're going to do a few things with some of the creation that God has made, and maybe get this thing started off with a bang. But before we do that, I would like to ask Dr. Novak a very important question.
Yes?
Do you know anything interesting, Dr. Novak, about helium?
Hold it. Whoa. Well, it's very, very not dense.
Not dense.
Not dense, yes.
I would like to say a few things about helium myself. It's very light. They put it in hard drives so that it'll spin faster with less resistance.
Really?
Do you know anything else?
I don't know. Does it exist on the moon?
I don't think so. They don't have much of an atmosphere there.
That was actually my next joke.
Oh, I ruined your joke.
You did.
Oh, man. Well, hey, let's get this thing started off with a bang.
Yes, not with a helium thing. Yes, exactly.
Helium, not very flammable.
No, not very flammable.
We're going to let that go. In front of here, we have 3 balloons filled with hydrogen. And I'm going to see if I can start a chain reaction. So thank you for getting them set up. And I'm going to light one of them and see if it'll go. So don't get too close to your screen. All right, and hopefully it won't damage any cameras here.
Right.
It could be a little loud. Yeah, don't
try it at home.
I'd like to see, no, I wouldn't like to see them try it, because how are you going to get the hydrogen gases in there? Now, we don't have helium. That was for us.
That was for us.
This is another light gas called hydrogen. I'm going to step back just a little bit to give me a little bit of reach here. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, we just got one of them. That is harder. Boy, those chain reactions.
No chain reaction. All right, let me get the other one.
All right, we're going to try it one more time. How are we doing on time?
Getting really close together.
Okay, we got them really close.
You hold them and I'll light them.
No, I was hoping you could hold the balloon.
No, that's fine. You can hold the balloon.
All right, we're going to try one more time to get a chain reaction going in 3, 2, 1. That is really hard. You were right about that.
I know.
Getting a oh, we got to do it. All right.
You got to do one more.
Last one. All right.
Got to blow them all.
All right. See, chain reactions are so hard to do, even when you've got all the right
When you
conditions.
got all the right things.
3, 2, 1. Woo! Yay!
Yes. Thank you very much.
The floor is yours.
Oh, the floor is mine. Exactly. Well, I'm going to have to vacuum it for certain.
Okay, what is the name of this animal? Partridge, turtle dove, quail, or kestrel? Yeah, you guys know the animals really well. So I'm afraid we're out of time. But anyway, please feel free to contact us if you want to learn more, and thanks for joining.
Steve Cinda, who is with admissions and enrollment at Andrews.
I just wanted to remind you guys to register for this event. You can go to andrews.edu/Cyfest, and if you go down a little bit, you'll see a link to register. And why would you want to register? To get some gifts. I think you guys see down below that I have some free goodies. But also on that page, if you go to andrews.edu/Cyfest, you can also register for Cyfest, which it ends tomorrow. The deadline to sign up is tomorrow. But I did want to announce some winners. We do have 2 boxes with T-shirts from the Department of Sustainable Agriculture, where you can do animal science, you can do you can major in sustainable horticulture, and it's really cool. So definitely check that out. Thank you, Dr. Cadell, for your segment. I'd like to announce 2 winners for the the special T-shirts from Sustainable Agriculture, and that one will go to Amy C, and the other one will go to Holly M. And that's not all. I have a third prize of a hoodie, and that'll be going to Michael H. So congrats on that. Just make sure that you register for this event so you have a chance to win one of these awesome prizes, because we'll have a few more prizes coming up. Thank you.
Now, he mentioned Cyfest. Does everybody know what Cyfest is? Cyfest is Andrews University's Olympics for high school students, and scientific Olympics, where STEM people come together and experience different kinds of contests and experiments in which they can, as a team and individually, learn about science, learn about STEM, but also participate in quizzes and labs, and it's just a very fun thing that really is designed to stimulate and engage the student who loves science, math, and technology. All right, so I would encourage you to sign up for that, and we're doing it virtually. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can do it from wherever you are, and the sign up is easy, as you know. I'd like to introduce now Dr. Mickey Kutzner, who's from the Department of Physics.
If you were to attend Andrews University as a science student, it's very likely that you would do research. You'd be involved in research. And one of our professors in the physics department, Dr. Tiffany Summerscales, is heavily involved with her students in gravitational waves research. She's part of a team that discovered gravitational waves just a few years ago. I'm going to describe to you how the sources of gravitational radiation might work. I'll introduce black hole number 1 and black hole number 2. As black holes orbit one another, they can spiral closer and closer together, And as they spiral closer and closer together, they rotate faster and faster and faster about each other. So here we go. When they're far apart, they rotate slowly. When they come closer together, they go faster. So when mass is far from the center of rotation, then the rotation is slower. But when it's closer, then it's faster. This is known as conservation of angular momentum. Angular momentum is how hard it is to stop something from rotating. What makes it hard for something to stop rotating? If it has lots of mass, it's hard to stop it from rotating. If it's rotating in a large radius, it's hard to stop it from rotating. And if it's got some speed, it's hard to stop it from rotating. Angular momentum is something that's conserved. So when these masses are far apart with a large radius, they rotate slowly with a slow speed. But when the same mass is at a small radius, in order for this product to be large, the velocity has to be big as well. So angular momentum is conserved in that situation. And so black holes, when they orbit each other, go faster and faster and faster until they merge and form a single black hole. Just to show you that angular momentum is a vector, that is, it has direction, let me get something rotating rapidly here. 2 bicycle wheels that are wrapped with wire, so they have lots of mass. They're at a pretty large radius, and I'll get them going as fast as I can. Here's angular momentum upwards. Now I'll turn it over, and it makes me turn so that my angular momentum is upwards. On the other hand, see how hard it is to stop them? On the other hand, if they're rotating in opposite directions, the angular momentum can cancel. It's like 2 electrons in a helium atom, the atom we just looked at. 2 electrons in a helium atom, they spin so that they cancel each other out, and there's no net angular momentum. Thank you very much. I hope you study physics while you're here.
Yes.
All right, everyone. It's me again. Time for another giveaway. So we're doing 2 boxes, and I forgot to mention what's included in these packages. So we have a T-shirt, we have a little tech pouch with a few cables, some sunglasses, and you'll get a water bottle. Those are for the first 2 names that I'll call at the beginning of each of my segments, and then we'll have a hoodie for the 3rd person. So the next 2 that I'll be calling to receive their goodie box will be for Cassidy S. and Roman J. So congrats to you. And then I have a hoodie for Lily M. So congrats to you guys. And remember, if you haven't registered for this event, feel free to do so at andrews.edu/Cyfest. I'd also like to take the time to promote our virtual previews that are coming up. We have 4 different ones, one happening every month. The first one being College 101, and then we have 2 in October and November that will be Yes, You Can Afford College. Just a few ways to see how finances can measure up and allow you to get to college. And then our last one will be Exploring College Careers, in which you can take steps in figuring out what it is you want to do, not only at Andrews, but also for your career and later on in life. So feel free to tune in. Those are also virtual, and you can register for those. You can go to andrews.edu/visit. So please feel free to tune in. It's an hour-long session, and feel free to ask your questions. We also have AU Talks with Ambassadors, which is really cool because we want you guys all to be able to connect with students that are currently here. So we have different Q&A sessions that'll happen every month that you can just talk with ambassadors, ask them questions, and hear about their Andrews experience to see if that can be your own. Anyways, be on the lookout because we'll have 2 more giveaways. Feel free to register, andrews.edu/Cyfest, and I hope you continue to enjoy the program.
Next up is engineering. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Engineering is central to STEM. And that's going to be presented by Colleen Stanishevsky.
Sorry. If we could just go ahead and play my video. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, engineering is the application of science and mathematics by which the properties of matter and the sources of energy in nature are made useful to people. It's a very technical and kind of umbrella description for the many engineering specialties, from working on producing hydrocarbons like oil and gas to literally doing rocket science. It would take a bit longer than the time I've been given to begin to provide an adequate description of all the different things an engineer might do. So instead, I can tell you a small part of what engineering has been for me, Colleen Stanishevsky, a senior graduating next year with a chemical engineering degree. Chemical engineers work on making sure that big plants, factories, and oil refineries are making materials in ways that are safe and efficient. These are things that are not always easy to prototype. I can't exactly build a tiny oil refinery to test if my calculations are correct. And sometimes the process is so complicated that to calculate it by hand becomes incredibly time-consuming and confusing. Yes, still confusing even after taking so many years of math classes. This is why one of the biggest parts of my process of earning an engineering degree has been modeling. Modeling is like a translator. It takes an input of what pieces you have into one end and output results in the other end. Aspen Plus is a program that we use that allows you to model processes as they would take place in a plant or factory. You input your desired chemicals, add reactors, heaters, etc. to tell it to mix chemicals or separate chemicals. And out comes the data that tells you what sort of chemical products you'll get, or what sort of temperature changes are going to take place in the reactors. This is all key data to know when finding out how expensive or how safe a process will be when in action in a plant. COMSOL is another multi-purpose modeling system. It's able to tell you how fast fluids flow, how sounds travel, or allow you to see the flow of heat through a heat exchanger, or like my research, how infection rates spread throughout a group of people. SolidWorks is another one of the amazing CAD programs, allowing you to build and model practically anything that you have the determination and patience to sit down and work on. SolidWorks helps engineers visualize things like how the parts of this modded Nissan 350Z fit together, how they look when they are painted or wrapped before they go into part production to make a reality. And these are only a few of the programs that help an engineer, and they've already been a huge part of my learning process here at Andrews University, as well as the learning process of many other types of engineers. Here are a couple of Andrews University's graduates. Patrick Tchaikovsky, he's a test engineer for Motorola Solutions. Leodin Morales is a mechanical engineer at Pike Industries. Thomas Zirkel is an engineer at Northrop Grumman. Taylor Halley is a project engineer at Pepper Construction. William Rupert is an electrical engineer for Summit Industries. Josh Cordova is an applications engineer at Raytheon. William Zumara is a mechanical engineer who works at General Electric. Daniel Marsh is an applications engineer as well at Teradyne. Krista Spieth does fraud analytics for Innova. And Brandon Ingetti is a systems engineer at GSE Systems. And Greg Zdor is an electrical engineer at SRC. And I've named only a few of the graduates, and there are hundreds of other places engineers may work and develop their skills. And modeling was just a small step of what they learned at Andrews University that had a huge impact on all of their careers. Thank you.
Before you go, I got a question for you. I didn't prepare you for this. Can you tell me what undergraduate degree has the highest starting salary of any undergraduate degree in the United States?
Man, I hope it's chemical engineering.
It is chemical engineering, indeed. So do you know what their average starting salary is?
No.
$99,000 a year is their average starting salary. Some make more, some make less. All of them are in high demand, and you are going to be a chemical engineer, and you are going to make Andrews University proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for another Mentee question. We'd like for you to, if you haven't already, log in to Mentee, and we'd like for you to let us know what grade you are, that you're here watching us. Are you elementary, middle, or high school, college? And we'd love to hear from you and find out exactly who you are and how much you're enjoying this. Right now, I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Anthony Bosman, who is in mathematics.
I want to show you some mathematics that you can do with just a sheet of paper. So at home, you should get a piece of paper at some point, cut it into a long strip, maybe tape some together, and you have this long strip. And now we're going to do some very advanced mathematics with it. We're going to take the strip, and we're going to bring it around, but no, we're not going to connect it. We're first going to give it a twist, just half a twist, and then tape the two ends together. Now, maybe it doesn't seem like that's too sophisticated, but we've just created a fascinating mathematical object. It's called a Mobius band, and this band has a very unique property. See, you think of a piece of paper as having two sides, the front and the back. But if you run your finger along this Mobius band, you find that you move from one side to the other, meaning they're actually the same. This shape only has one side. It's a one-sided piece of paper. The Dutch artist M.C. Escher captured this in his portrait of ants walking on a Mobius band. And if you follow the path of an ant, he moves around, and it seems like he's on the opposite side, but it's actually the same side. It's a one-sided shape that this ant is moving around. But now that we have this Mobius band, we can begin to do some things with it. Take a pair of scissors, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut it down the middle. Now, if it was just a regular cylinder of paper, and you cut it down the middle, you would get two cylinders. What do you think is going to happen when we cut this Mobius band down the middle? Go ahead and in the comments, just comment. What do you think are we going to get? Are we going to get two cylinders? What are we going to get when we cut this Mobius band down the middle? How many sides will these shapes have? How many of them will it be? What do you think? Put in your guess. We're about to find out. You ready? Here we go. We cut not two, but just one band. You can begin to ask questions about this band, like, you notice this band is twisted up. How many twists are in this band? Well, do it yourself. You can find out. Because now I wanted to do a second experiment. Take another Mobius band, and this time, instead of cutting it down the middle, we're just going to go 1/3 of the distance from the end. Just 1/3. And we're going to begin to cut. What's going to happen now as we go around the Mobius band? Put in your guess. What's going to happen? What are we going to end up with if we travel around the Mobius band, cutting just 1/3 of the distance from the edge? As you travel around it, you begin to notice something strange happens. I go around, and now I end up on the opposite 1/3. What has happened? Well, just as there's only one side, there's only one edge. So being 1/3 of the distance from one edge is the same as being 1/3 from the opposite edge. So cutting around, I'm now on the opposite side, 1/3 from the opposite edge. I'm going to keep going. What are we going to end up with? Put your guesses in the comments. What do you think is going to happen? What are we going to get? We end up almost there. Have you guessed? There's going to be one band, two bands, three bands, four bands. What kind of bands will it be? Here we go. Two bands, but they're linked together. We have created linked bands somehow. And if you look at this one, the smaller band, it's another copy of the Mobius strip. It's a Mobius strip linked with a larger band, which is actually the same as the band we got from the first time. Well, you can have some more fun with Mobius bands yourself. Go ahead, build one, cut it up, see what you get. But I want us to do one more thing with our Mobius bands. Take two Mobius bands, and instead of cutting, begin to glue them together. You line them up, and we're going to begin gluing them together along that single edge that they have. Since they both have one edge, when you glue them together, those edges will be eliminated, so whatever result should have no edge. But you get into some difficulty doing this. It runs into itself. It intersects itself. It turns out we can't do this in three-dimensional space. Now, this would be a problem if we're a physicist and we lived in a three-dimensional universe. But we're mathematicians. We can travel into four-dimensional universes. And what happens when we do? When we travel into this fourth dimension and we glue these together, we end up with an amazing shape called a Klein bottle. This object, it seems like it's a bottle of some kind, but just like the Mobius band, it has only one side. Its inside is its outside. So although it looks like there's candy inside, the inside is the outside, so that candy is actually outside. These are some of the amazing things that can happen in mathematics. I encourage you to connect with us on our YouTube channel, Math at Andrews, to find out more amazing mathematical tricks and to connect with us at Andrews University.
Thank you very much. Again, we're finding out that when you look at science, when you look at STEM, mathematics is the foundation of all that happens here in STEM. Math is the foundation of physics. Physics is the foundation of chemistry. Chemistry is the foundation of biology. All of that can be modeled to one degree or another using mathematics. It's a very powerful way of knowing. I encourage you, if you have some interest in it, come join us, come see what Andrews can do for you in terms of mathematics. We have a giveaway, I think.
Thank you, Dr.
Steve.
Novak.
Yes.
Hello again, everyone. The moment you've been waiting for. I know every segment is the moment you've been waiting for, but we have 3 more winners, 2 of which will get this awesome merchandise box again with the t-shirt, the tech pouch, the water bottle, and the sunglasses. 2 of you will get those, and 1 will get a hoodie. The first 2 names who will be getting the box will be Melody F. and Sarah B. Sarah Bravo. And then who will be getting the hoodie is Sarah H. I believe that's Sarah Hamstra. So congrats to those winners. Again, if you guys have not registered for this event, feel free to do so. We have 1 more giveaway that you can be eligible to win something. That's andrews.edu/Cyfest. And if you haven't signed up for Cyfest, tomorrow is the last day to register. So make sure, even if it's individual or group, if you have your teacher, you say, hey, teach, we need to join this. So make sure you register for that tomorrow. And we hope to see you guys there in a few weeks. All right, thank you.
Thank you. I love flying. I like to fly. I'm not a pilot, but I like to fly commercial aircraft. I have an app on my phone called Flight Radar, and I look up over my house, and I see way in the distance up there, I see this commercial aircraft, and I get on Flight Radar, and I punch it in, and I can see, wow, it's right over Berrien Springs, and man, they're going from Chicago to Luxembourg. They're going from Chicago to Paris. It's awesome. Such freedom in flying. I'd like to introduce you now to the Department of Aviation, and they have a video to show you.
When I was growing up, I would often look up into the sky, and as I gazed each morning, I would see birds flying up above my house, and I would always question, how can I one day make it up to the sky? I'm trying to reach the highest heights, for I realize my citizenship is in heaven. Those who wait upon the Lord shall mount up with wings as eagles. I may not be on a runway or a highway, but I'm certainly on my way to heaven. I'm just flying my way home to heaven.
Is that it? Oh, that was not 5 minutes. 19 years. And he and I have been colleagues, and it's been enjoyable to have him be a part of the team that is the STEM faculty here at Andrews.
Well, thank you very much. Again, I want to welcome all of you here to this Cyfest at Andrews University. And I am David Bongo, like Dr. Novak mentioned. I am a physiologist and also an entomologist. As a physiologist, I am interested in understanding how body systems work. As an entomologist, and I'm interested in the world of insects. And I want to share with you one of the things that fascinates most about insects. One day, a British biologist called J.B.S. Haldane was talking to a theologian. And a theologian asked him, and I just want to read what he asked the question. He was asked by a theologian, what would one conclude as to the nature of the Creator from the study of his creation? And Haldane stopped for a while, and then he said, if the Creator exists, he must be inordinate. He must have an inordinate fondness for beetles. Well, the reason why Haldane was talking like that is because there are more than 500,000 different species of beetles. And that's just one type of insect. There are so many types of insects in the world. Solomon, in Proverbs 6, verses 6 says, lazy people should learn a lesson from the study of ants. So we are not going to deal with the ants today. I want to deal with, I have here in this container an American cockroach. But if I let it loose, I know some you will be screaming in this room. So I'm not about to let it loose. But I don't know how I can get it because I need to put it here. I'll try to catch it. Dr. Novak probably will catch it if it runs loose.
What? Yeah. Probably stop on it, sorry.
Okay, just a minute, please. It's beginning to... Wow. This is just a minute. Yes. I caught it, I hope. So this is a cockroach, an American cockroach. Now, I could put it here, and you see it's running, and it will come and go very fast. And I don't know who would catch it. But I will do something with it. I will cut off its head, and then I will put it. I've removed the head. Now I can put it. And the problem is, now you can see it, it's trying to move, but the problem is it lost one leg, but it will stay. You can see the antenna here, which was part of the hand. You see it moving. It's still moving, the antenna. And this one is still going to be alive. You see the legs are moving, but one of the legs is gone. The thing about insects that fascinates me is that if I come and I put some Vaseline here, this guy will still be alive tomorrow. And he will still be walking. In fact, the one I demonstrated with last year, I kept it for almost 30 hours before it died. Oh. So they can walk without legs. And they can do a lot of things. This is just because this one was fighting with another one and it lost a leg, so it's having a problem walking. But it could do that. You can actually see it. Yeah, you see? Now it's moving if I touch it. Why do insects have that ability? One of the things about insects is the brain is not in one place. You see, your brain is in the head. The insects have brains. Their brain is distributed in different parts of the body. And each part of the body is controlled by the segment of the brain there. Another thing about this insect, it doesn't have one heart. It has a heart that beats blood into the antenna. It has a heart that beats blood into the leg, a heart that beats blood into every appendage. So insects can't have a heart attack because they have so many hearts. So you can't just kill them. That's why cockroaches, it's very difficult to kill them. They're very hard.
Do cockroaches have lungs? Do they have lungs?
No, they don't have lungs. Cockroaches have small openings called spiracles, where air comes in and gets out through the spiracles. They don't have lungs. But so insects are valuable to study. In fact, they are important pollination in a lot of other things. And if you are interested in biology, insects make a very good model to study physiology and to study everything that you want to study. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Absolutely. And as you know, the study of medicine and dentistry is also a very powerful way of creating a career of service. And the STEM programs here in biology and chemistry, physics and mathematics all have excellent pre-med and pre-dent programs for you. And it is an interesting thing to be able to study insects as you move into study of medicine and dentistry. Admissions.
All right.
Steve.
Hello, everyone. For my last giveaway, I do have a few, but I did want to mention that you need to come visit us. So definitely take advantage of the virtual previews. They're free, and we can offer you a free t-shirt if you go ahead and visit us there. So you can go to andrews.edu/visit, and if you can see on the screen, you can come visit us for 4 different previews. September 16, we have College 101, learn a little bit about college. October 7, yes, you can afford college part 1, and then November 11, we'll have the part 2 of you can afford college. And then the last one we will have for the semester will be December 9, exploring college careers. So if you don't know what you're still doing within even the world of STEM, that's totally fine. We can help you get there, and really love doing it. So in my last 3 drawings, so 2 of which will be getting this prize box, and 1 will get a hoodie. The 2 that will be getting the prize box is London G and Alyssa C. And as for the last prize that I'll be giving out tonight, the hoodie will be going to Christian N. So congrats on that. I just wanted to mention also, if you're one of the winners tonight, please feel free to email your size of the t-shirt or hoodie to stemconnect@andrews.edu, and we'd be happy to get you the right size. But yeah, that's pretty much all from me, so I think we'll wrap it up here.
Yay! Absolutely. Please join us and get connected with Andrews University. I think it'll be a life-changing experience for you. Computing. Everybody's influenced by computing. We all have computers, literally. Many of us have smartphones in our pockets, and these computers are connected to the world through internet and through the apps that are on these powerful phones. The computers that launched Apollo to the moon were not as powerful as the computers and chips that are in these phones. The Department of Computing has a video that they'd like to show you right now. No? Okay, well, then is this the end of it? All right, this is the end. So I'd like to leave you with a joke that has nothing to do with STEM. So so did you hear about the schizophrenic accountant? What did the schizophrenic accountant here? Invoices. So with that really bad dad joke, we'll leave you this evening and encourage you to come and hear better humor from Dr. Hayes, who's clearly got a better quality of joke than I do. But at Andrews, we're not joking about your education. You're going to get a great one, I know. Let's end with a word of prayer, shall we? Dear Lord, thank you for science. Thank you that you have given us the ability to think and to do, to understand the world around us. And because of that ability to understand the world around us, that we can become better servants of yours, serving humanity through the careers of engineering and of mathematics and of chemistry and biology and physics, in which that knowledge can be used to make this world a better place. We're grateful that you have given us that ability. And we ask, Lord, as we look towards our future, that we can go to a place that will turn that passion into a career that is full of meaning and full of interesting things to do and full of meaning in a person's life, in your life, in our lives. Thank you so much for tonight and for all that we've learned and seen. In Jesus' name, amen. Take care, you guys. Have a great evening.